artists have this introspection, and I think we look back on ourselves and see how strange we can be. As a writer of paranormal phenomena, I often say to myself, weirdness abounds, especially when you make these strange connections that hook up with real life, and it makes life a little bit more interesting, I think. And what I am thinking about is when I was on the treadmill creating this story reel for Djinn, kind of walking through as the creature in the desert, and just walking through the details of what would become the story later, a few months later, is within a day there was a huge sandstorm in Dubai. And then also I was watching a news story video with my daughter this morning about the possible discovery of the tomb of Nefertiti, which I had read Djinn to her and the pairing of Empathic Slide, and I, pointed out a few details of the story. We kind of went back in the story and then kind of stopped in different parts of the video about the possible discovery of the tomb of Nefertiti. She winks into existence, from this hieroglyphic painted wall, right? Or, the black rimmed eyes. So they had a statue of Nefertiti, the famous statue with the long neck. The cave that the Djinn goes into, which is kind of like in the Valley of the Kings, going down into this tomb. So she remembered Empathic Slide more. And the interesting part about Empathic Slide is I had drawn some images and I was obsessed with the 5 DJs. And the 5 DJs came up because of characters in A Wandering Mind. And so I was also obsessed about the colors. I was trying to get them to match Djinn, the colors on the tattoos and other images that were coming through in the story. And so I had kind of this, disco ball, holographic lights, anything that you would see in a really cool nightclub. And then I finished the story, the first draft, right before midnight on July 13th. And the next day, there was a news item about the petrichor, which was fascinating, and to see the image a rendering of what the petrichor would look like was very interesting, with the different colors. And there were 5 dots, and it just was a little bit of a shock, as a writer. You're like, oh, those are the 5 DJs, so it's makes life more interesting when you have these waking events that match up with what you are creating in your head.